There's a place on our planet, ancient and primordial, hidden to most of the world. Here, glacier-crowned peaks protect an ancient rainforest. Home to one of the rarest animals on Earth, the spirit bear. There are fewer than 200 of them alive today. This is Mox. Now, you might think she's an albino or a polar bear, but she's a rare subspecies of the North American black bear. Now that she's left her winter den where she's slept for 6 months, you can imagine it's a little slow going just to wake up. Not to mention the morning breath. Mox has lived in this part of the rainforest all her life. Some years she'll have cubs, some years she won't. But don't worry about her. There's others in the neighborhood to keep her company. People have lived here since the Ice Age, and still do.
Yeah, that was one of the places where she liked sleeping.
Yeah.
My name is Marvin Robinson, Gitgat First Nation. My Indian name is Mengees Height. That's from the Raven clan.
Long ago, the elder chief of Marvin's First Nation tribe gave him the job of protecting the spirit bear and its ancient forest home.
Okay, we're gonna set up in one of the best spots in the creek.
Right.
Today, he's teaching his son Nelson about the ways of the spirit bear, so he too can be their guardian in the future.
My name is Nelson Robinson. I'm 12 years old. My Indian name is Nu Nach Nogamal. That's baby spirit bear. My grandfather gave me my Indian name. I've been coming out here since I was 4. I'm pretty comfortable around bears.
The First Nations people are a big reason this wild and unchanged place still exists. But the very foundation of this natural wonder comes from a unique marriage between the rainforest and the ocean. The Great Bear Rainforest is the largest and most intact coastal temperate rainforest left on Earth. This place contains more life by weight than a tropical rainforest like the Amazon. Some of the largest trees here are more than 1,000 years old. This is one of the rarest forest types left on Earth. The unique conditions that make these forests possible can only be found in small, scattered pockets around the planet. Forests like this are so rare, they only ever covered 1/2% of the Earth's land surface. And today, almost all of it is gone. Over half of the remaining coastal temperate rainforest lies along Canada's rugged Pacific coastline in British Columbia. Here, there is more than 20,000 miles of coastline winding around a maze of islands, inlets, and fjords. This mosaic of land and sea makes for ideal conditions to transfer marine nutrients to the forest from the bounty of the ocean. A cold water ocean supports more life than a warm one, making the North Pacific one of the richest oceans in the world. If you look deeper, you'll see that the forests here aren't just above ground. Underwater kelp forests are one of the most productive ecosystems on the planet. They're essential to one species in particular. Sea otters. Over 100 years ago, they were hunted to extinction here for their luxurious fur. About 50 years ago, a few otter families were transplanted here from Alaska, and the population has thrived ever since. Otter moms raise their pups alone, and boy, are they a handful. Or in this case, a tummyful. You'd be hard-pressed to find a more dedicated parent. Humpback whales have also returned to the coast. They too had once been hunted out, but now thousands of whales come each year to fatten up after their long migration from Hawaii. They time their arrival each spring to take advantage of one of the biggest buffets on the planet. The return of Pacific herring to spawn. This event is so important to the Hiltzik First Nations that it marks the start of their new year.
The wane, the herring, are something that we have a long relationship with. Herring season is like seeing a relative who we haven't seen for a while. It's a reunion of sorts that needs to be protected and cherished. My name is Saul Brown. My Hiltzik name is Ajishpa, meaning the silver-tipped supernatural grizzly bear. I'm 25 years old and I'm from Bella Bella. Herring season is my favorite time of the year as a young person. Getting out on the water and understanding that what I'm doing is an ancient practice that my ancestors did. I love herring season because we all come together and share that food and experience. And it always makes my heart full to see these animals come and converge where there's a feast.
The Hiltzik people say that each spring, when the moon tips over, the herring move closer to shore under the forest to lay their eggs. The females converge, each one laying tens of thousands of eggs onto seaweed and rocks. Herring can spawn in such abundance that the milky water will stretch for miles along the coast. While the herring are a delicacy for some animals, others come to feed on their eggs. These are surf scoters. They time their northern migration each year to arrive just in time for the herring to lay their eggs. But they have to dive to reach them. These eggs fuel their migration north to the scoters' nesting grounds. The Hiltzik people have also learned from their ancestors to time their own harvest. A week ago, Saul and his family placed these hemlock tree branches in the ocean where they thought the herring would spawn. And they got it right. The branches are just covered in herring eggs. These eggs are an important economic resource and a favorite food of the Heeltsuck. Their children sing a traditional song celebrating the harvest.
My people have been harvesting herring eggs 14,000 years. The sustainability of our fishery allows for herring to come and spawn up to 6 times in their lifetime, compared to a commercial fishery that, takes the eggs right out of the belly and that's it. So we take care of the herring, and the herring take care of us.
If the ocean is the lifeblood of the Great Bear Rainforest, then the thousands of river estuaries where the fresh water meets the ocean are its beating heart. This abundant habitat is home to the biggest guy in the neighborhood: grizzlies. They converge each spring on these tidal meadows to feast on sedge, a grass-like plant rich in protein. These guys have no problem eating their vegetables. In spring, they can eat 10 pounds of these greens each day. When they're done eating, grizzlies head for the trees for 2 reasons: to mark their territory and to get a really good back scratch. That's gotta feel great. They leave behind their personal scent and an awful lot of bear hair, not unlike my mother-in-law. When the bears leave, the trees attract another inhabitant of the forest. The Kitasoo-Hei-Hei's people have been living alongside these bears for thousands of years. Now they're using modern technology to study the bears that live in their traditional territory. They collect the hair left behind on these rub trees to analyze the bear's DNA. A big part of the project is getting the younger generation involved.
Let's come check out this rub tree here, guys.
My name is Mercedes. I am 15 years old, in grade 10. I have 2 traditional names, Halulu, which means butterfly, and Abuxklamayu, which is mother that keeps the family together.
I'm the student field technician for the bear research team. I go out with the crew to these special bear sites around the territory and collect bear hairs. The bear's hair is basically like a fingerprint for bears. Using DNA from the hairs, we can discover lots of information about the bears. If they're male or female, how old they are, how much salmon they're eating, and how healthy they are.
See the stomp trails, Mercedes?
Oh, yeah.
Mercedes' generation is the first to use these new research techniques to better understand bears.
I actually really like science and biology.
Mom and 2 cubs.
It's really great because I'm able to combine knowledge from elders and community members with the science that I'm learning.
They're combining the technology of the modern world with the traditions of the old, and giving her people a fresh perspective on the bears who share their homeland. And it's not just grizzly bears. Black bears also live in these forests. They have to be careful around their much bigger, very cranky neighbors. Grizzly claws aren't great for climbing, so up here, the black bear family feels safe from their grizzly cousins. By climbing, they can also reach a black bear delicacy, the wild Pacific crabapple. Out in the open, the grizzly's long claws are the perfect tools for digging up roots and tubers that grow wild here. The best advice for the black bear cubs is to keep a low profile and stay up in trees. They'll learn how to climb by observing the masterful climbing technique of their mother. I'm sure she meant to do that. Yep, seeing your child up there hanging from a branch by their fingernails, that's not at all precarious. Thankfully, his climbing skills are keeping him out of trouble. Getting enough to eat before winter is critical for all bears. As summer arrives, they're all about to get a big boost to their diet plans. The salmon are back. After 4 years at sea, they're headed to their freshwater home to spawn. It's the beginning of the most important time of year for the spirit bear. And it's also a great time for Marvin to teach Nelson more about these mysterious animals.
So we just gotta watch and see which way she goes, but it looks like she's coming up.
It looks like she's moving slower.
Yeah. Pretty nice looking bear though.
Yeah.
You can see fresh carcasses here.
Yeah.
So we'll just set up here for now.
Nelson has been coming here with his dad for most of his life. At 12 years old, he already knows more about bears than most adults.
I learned from my dad to understand bears and what they do, watch his ears and his eyes, if he's smelling the air. Move around so the bear doesn't think you're another bear, and wear not black because it'll think you're a black bear.
You see where the moss is clear? It should be all covered in moss. So when that moss gets moved by them walking, you know that a bear's been here. So when you're walking up a creek, you look for that on the logs in the river. Oh.
That's my first time seeing her run.
Come on. Yeah, that's good. She's trying.
Now you might wonder why there are white bears in this rainforest. When Mox is fishing, her white fur camouflages her against the sky. By catching more salmon, it ensures her survival, allowing her to pass on her genes to future generations. The ocean has such a strong influence on this rainforest that over time, it actually changed the color of a bear. There's a reason this is called a rainforest. It gets 10 feet of rain a year. Most storms come and go as part of the normal weather cycle here. But today's storm dumped a full foot of rain, a tenth of the year's total in just one day. The rain saturated the ground until soil on the steep slopes gave way and thousands of tons of mud, rocks, and trees came crashing down the mountain, burying the stream and the salmon that were in it. Mock's beautiful salmon stream is ruined, and the consequences are dire. She needs to eat a lot of salmon to gain enough weight to survive next winter's hibernation. The storm has impacted everyone, even the wolves who share this valley. But with their keen sense of smell, at least they're able to find salmon buried in the mud. Mox is never gonna get enough to eat here. She'll have to move if she's gonna survive. Throughout the Great Bear Rainforest, the big storm has caused the rivers to rise. The high water is making the salmon's journey upstream more difficult. Clearing these falls is equivalent to a human leaping over a 4-story building. This high water is also giving the bears here a new fishing opportunity. But there's only one spot to stand on these falls to catch fish. So he has to wait for the fish to come to him. You might think that this is a bear's version of fast food, but it's not as easy as it looks. It takes patience until... Wait for it. Wait for it. There you go. Dinner time, baby. Mom and the cubs are switching from crab apples to salmon. But first, they'll have to wait for the big fella to leave. The coast is clear, so Mom and her cubs can dive in. Coming here is risky. Big males have been known to kill cubs. And before she can catch a fish, guess who's back? Mother bear tries to make a stand against him. The male takes back the best fishing spot, but moms don't give up that easily. She stands her ground. This must be hard for the hungry family to watch. She needs to find fish, so she makes the difficult decision to leave her cubs behind to try her luck upstream. But leaving cubs alone is risky. They're too young to know what's dangerous. Defending cubs is how most mother bears are killed. But not today, bucko. Don't mess with this mama bear. The big male wisely decides it's just not worth the hassle. Her decision to stay has paid off for this hungry family of four. While other bears have been busy fattening up for winter, Mox has been searching for a new stream to call home. She left her devastated fishing ground behind and headed toward a familiar place from her past. It's the perfect salmon stream. Shallow water for spawning and a set of rapids for fishing. But like most rapids, it has its own resident bear that holds the best fishing spot. she's gonna have to learn to fit in around the bears on this new creek. First encounters between bears can be tense. But given the fact that Mox is, well, perhaps not the most graceful. Oh, Mox, you poor thing. This bear feels he probably doesn't have too much to worry about. Mox doesn't hesitate to move right into a prime fishing spot. But it's not that simple. She's the new kid here. And the new kids can sometimes be taken advantage of. Mox came here for a reason. She's hungry, and there's plenty of salmon. She takes a stand in the stream, like she's remembering what to do. She has, in fact, been here before.
I was worried when the mudslide destroyed her old home, but I thought she might come back here. I'm relieved that she's okay. It's good to see her getting salmon she needs.
This creek is part of her old territory, the place where she first grew up, where her cubs were born. But she left it years ago because of one bear in particular. This young spirit bear. It's Mox's daughter. This could be the first time they've seen each other in 5 years. Mox moved from this perfect salmon creek to make room for her. It's the start of a new generation of spirit bears for Marvin and Nelson.
I'm going to be able to grow up on this creek, watching this young bear become the new old bear of the forest. My home is special, and I want to make sure these bears are always going to be a part of it.
When I was young, we never spoke of the spirit bear. But Nelson is growing up in a time when our home is facing more challenges. If we can protect the bear, it will protect our home.
Although there are reasons to be hopeful, the future here is far from secure. It's going to take everyone, pulling together to make sure that Mox and all who live here have a home for many more years to come in the Great Bear Rainforest.
Land of the Spirit Bear. Take 5. Sequence 9. Day 400. Action.
No, no. Don't listen to him.
Oh, he's down there somewhere.
Never seen that one before.
I've never seen that before.
I don't even know what this is.
We just had a black bear coming. He's more interested in the camera, I think, than the fish.
Just got into grade 12. Or grade 11. I keep saying it.
I just filmed the bear rubbing on the tree right in front of us. It's taken us months. 4 minutes, depending on how you look at it.
I was extremely lucky. Right place at the right time. That's it. That's all you get.